Welcome to Dr. Jester Rants, and this is about ethics in journalism again, and this time it's really bad one. It basically confirms what we all know and have been aware of BBC, that BBC is akin to al-beebeeceera, because unfortunately they are very, very far left and they are quite anti-Semitic. With this report from the Telegraph here, it's quite clear how bad it is. BBC removed references to Jews and jihad in Gaza documentary. Corporation accused of whitewashing that keeps viewers ill-informed about the nature of Hamas. And this is a good example of what it is. Here, this is one of the examples that they used. Yeah.
وكان لابس الجعب انه يعني كان جاهز للجهاد هو لابس ملتم وكان لابس الجعب انه يعني كان جاهز للجهاد.
See the difference? It's quite telling. It changes the entire message. One, it says battle. Okay, fine, maybe he's defending something. But in the other one, you can actually see that the person is not defending anything. He's actually preparing to go into some sort of holy war. It's quite telling. The left, who glorifies itself for being atheist, and I am an atheist myself, they really like to defend religious lunatics and, well, religious extremism. But then again, the left has never been known for, well, being aware of their hypocrisies. After all, that's what they do. Here, the Telegraph can reveal that at least 5 occasions the word Yahud or Yahudi, Arabic for Jew or Jews, were changed to Israel or Israeli forces and were removed from the subtitles altogether. And this actually ends up helping the people who are not very much aware of it, and they want to use it for propaganda purposes. But, well, let's face it, it's a nothing burger. After all, it's all about the party, for the party, and everything for the party. And have you got a license to tell the truth against the party? No, you do not. So, off the good luck for you. No, good luck. What? Are you questioning the party? Good luck to you. Do you want to tell the truth about something that the party did? Good luck to you. Are you going to say that the party is wrong? Up to the good luck with you. That's basically it. What the left seems to be preaching lately. Yeah. Right, continuing. An interviewee praising Yahya Sinwar, one of the creators and of the October 7th, and was on a prisoner exchange back in when they released the soldier Gilad Shalit. Then Israel even did brain cancer surgery on him and eliminated the cancer, and this is the thanks Israel gets. Well, that goes to say that no good deed goes unpunished. Anyway, continuing. The Hamas leader for jihad against Jews was mistranslated as saying he was fighting Israeli forces. Holy moly. The BBC is under pressure to reveal where the taxpayers' money was given to Hamas during the making of Gaza. How to survive a war zone. Yeah, I don't think it's more about how to survive a war zone, but how to spread propaganda for your terrorist group. Yeah. That seems to be it. Continuing. The documentary was trialed as revealing in gripping details life of 4 young people in Gaza. Oh, poor little souls. A reminder, not even a single Gazan actually helped any Jew escape. Meanwhile, in World War II, people in Germany, quite a few Germans, actually fucking helped Jews. Quite telling, isn't it? However, the broadcaster issued an apology and removed the film from iPlayer after it emerged that it had prominently featured the son of Hamas minister. Ha! So with things like this, makes you wonder what else have they lied about in this war. We know some of the things they try to whitewash the crimes Hamas did. We are all aware of it, but what else have they hidden? That's the question. That remains the question that we need to know. And this needs an investigation because, after all, BBC is a public entity. And they receive money from the public. This is why defund the BBC is a common topic. So, before I continue, here is something awesome.
We are few. We are God's chosen knights. We are born of sin and crime. We are repentance personified. We are immortal. We are legend. We are God's wrath made manifest. And we know no fear.
Okay, so even more bad stuff done by BBC because, after all, you need to cleanse the crimes of the saviors of the left. And that's exactly what they've been doing. Yeah, here's another example.
خشوا علينا اليهود خشوا علينا اليهود
See the difference? It's very telling. It's very telling on everything that is happening here. We know for a fact that Hamas also uses human shields, but channels like BBC, ABC, CNN, and other ultra-far left organizations tend to ignore that or even hide it. They tend to completely ignore it. For instance, many times when Hamas decided to attack Israel, returned fire after multiple attacks. BBC, ABC, and CNN, and many others simply would say, Israel decided to attack Hamas, as if it came from nowhere. And this is exactly another example of the media lying to you. It's quite telling how bad everything is with propaganda these days. Makes you wonder how much that money from Qatar gets around. Yeah. Those guys do have a lot of money, don't they? Right. Continue, here's
ضد
another
اليهود.
example.
بس أكدت لنا هاي الفيديوهات إنه هو ما كانش متخبي تحت الأرض، إنه هو بالعكس هو بقاوم بجاهد ضد اليهود.
Quite telling, isn't it? Fighting and resisting Israeli forces, and jihad, well, you know what it says. It's sad to see BBC like this. I wonder if they were that bad in the 80s. I know in the 90s they started to go down, in the 2000s, and I remember in mid-2000s they were really bad. I mean, for instance, in London or everything else in which it had a terror attack, they would actually say Asian attacked or did something. It eventually became a meme that whenever media like BBC or The Guardian referenced Asian, we already knew who the guy was. potentially Islamists from some Middle East. They started to label them Asians. No. And some Americans actually literally thought they were from China or Japan. And we actually had to explain to them that no, it wasn't the usual fried rice eating type of Asian. No, it's the one that puts on boom boom sticks in their chest type of Asian. Yeah. Okay, only Goldsmith of the Israeli embassy in the UK accused the corporation of intentional mistranslation, which he described as a sinister and misleading policy of the BBC. This is... I'm sorry to break it to you, Orly, but this is... has been happening for more than decades. More than a couple of decades, suffice to say. This goes for a very long time. I'm sorry to disappoint you, but this has been the MO of BBC for quite some time. Yeah. She also said the translation was not only false and deeply offensive, but it also excuses racism and does not allow viewers to see how children and Palestinians at large have been taught to hate Jews from a very young age. Yeah. And she is pretty much on point in that. Especially the education in Judea and Samaria. Well, if you're a leftist, you call it the West Bank. I'm calling it with the original name, Judea and Samaria. And Gaza, they are all taught to hate Jews from the very beginning. Their brainwashing goes back for generations, and it's all aided by organizations like the UN and UNRWA and other organizations or non-profit organizations, actually, and actually the far left, who has always been and will forever be anti-Semitic. Moving on. Spokesman for the campaign, and a campaign that they did a demonstration in front of the Broadcasting House in London, said this: the BBC has no shame and Britain has had enough. For over 16 months we have watched our national broadcaster provide ever more sympathetic coverage to a proscribed terror organization hiding behind claims of impartiality. Precisely. They claim BBC is impartial, but we all know from the very get-go that you don't go to BBC to get your factual news. You avoid them. Well, unless you actually feel like being told by the party what you should believe in, then you go to BBC. Right. There is nothing partial about giving credibility to the claims of terrorists, providing a platform for terrorist propaganda, downplaying their crimes, and continuing to refuse to call them terrorists is the BBC putting its thumb on the scale. That's a bit like RT trying to tell you that there is definitely no war going on in Ukraine right now. It's just a special operation. Okay? Right. Quote, enough is enough. It is time for the BBC to stop whitewashing terrorists. There must be an independent investigation into the bias in relation to its Middle East coverage. Michael Marlowe, the father of Jake Marlowe, who was killed by Hamas during the October 7th attack, told the crowd, quote, for decades, the al-beebeeceera stood as the bastion of honest and trustworthy reporting. It was the world's first port of call for global and national news, respected for its integrity and neutrality. But that BBC is long gone. And boy, it is long gone. At least, as far as I could tell, mid-2000s. They were already pretty bad, so you can say that they were very bad, even going to 2000, maybe the mid-90s. That's when they began to go really awful. Yeah. Which is why I'm telling you, defund the BBC, make them private, abolish the TV license, and, maybe BBC will finally learn a thing or two to stop with their propaganda when their views start to go down. At least CNN seems to be learning just a little bit, but it's not enough yet. They still need to lose a little bit more viewers. Oh my. Well, on that regard, have a cheery bye. God, we need eyes on bad prince right now.